I had such a wonderful day this morning. You know, the main thing I'm finding out that it's hard to keep up with God, right? Because I just was going over the definition of a zeptosecond, so I got to look at it again. But I think it's a billionth of a second within a second, or it's a billionth of a second, and I believe it's supposed to be a decimal point with 20 zeros behind it. That's what a zeptosecond is supposed to be in terms of how fast something can materialize from a subatomic particle to what we call a manifest, a manifest state. Uh, if you will only, what is that called? It's acceptance. If you will accept the knowledge and be receptive of it, that's how fast that it comes. So I'm kind of always like looking to my right and looking to my left because, you know, remaining in the mind of God is huge. I just was talking to a family member of mine, right? And it was kind of funny in a way because this person had said, I had made a comment. So they said, you lose. So the way I dealt with that situation, and I'm having to learn this the hard way, is that nobody comes before the big G, the big O, the big D. Whether it is any significant other, whether it is a family member or anyone else. So just knowing that changes things. So when a person says something like that, it's not even a consideration. All you have to do is accept it in love because you know, after studying this information, that love rules and conquers everything. It wins when hate loses. So it really don't matter. You know what I mean? It's just like your homeboy got something nice and you got something nice. Why can't y'all show up together rather than him saying something improper to you or vice versa? I mean, we live in a world of abundance, right? So all this stuff I'm learning, and I'm really learning how to be absent from your normal environment and how being in an environment that makes you uncomfortable, when you submit your will to primal source, the great creator, and give him all issues and all problems, then your external is not so much inhospitable because he gives you everything you need, everything. And then they say be constantly and steadily in prayer. So I'm doing the research, right, finding out what that is, how that happens. And so where I'm at right now is I feel really, really good. So all I got to do is just keep doing what I'm doing in expectation, right? Faith is defined as works yet unseen. But by your actions, God takes care of the rest of it. Doesn't matter what someone else thinks. It don't matter if someone think you lunching. It don't matter if someone don't think you all here. All you have to do is stay within the boundaries and the perimeters of what you're supposed to be doing. And then laws that govern things by the second and by the moment are going to take care of you anyway. Because I had a situation the other night that happened, and I know that God was involved in terms of what could have happened, and it was through no faults of my own. And it was a guy that was driving a car without headlights. No way I could see him. Only because of my driving skill through God moving through my hands and my feet, and how I was able to get out of that demonstration, which technically should not have been possible, right? I mean, like I would have had a new car. I don't want it like that, but the way that the demonstration would have went down, I didn't want to absorb that impact because the person already knew that they were not on point because when I looked in my rear view mirror after I cleared everything, they was like swerving a little bit, but I could tell they was trying to get, they was trying to roll out. They was not going to stop, none of that. You feel me? So I just feel good about that. So I just wanted to share that. So I want to go back to the reading. Illusion. Thy life is an image that is unrelentingly cast by the pictures that form in your mind, and thou which you seest is that thou which thou hast. They're bringing like archaic English, but I'm gonna break that down. Your life is an image unrelentingly cast by the pictures that form in your mind, and that which you see is what you have. However, what you see is evil, and therefore then evil is yours. Now let me break that down, because that thing is tight. Evil, the great illusion. As the first step in our discussion of evil, let us sensibly get rid of both the devil and hell. Make up your mind that the intelligence that exists behind the universe does not destroy itself. The pain-ridden idea of hellfire as a place of punishment for sin is man's own serious idea. Evil is man's own serious idea. Disease and suffering are man's own ideas, and God does not know of the existence of these things. Since he created man through free will, he has left it up to man to conceive his own situations. Ooh-wee. Let me say that again, because I really need to hear this, because I tell you, these videos really for me, for real, and I'm gonna love it, because somebody gonna wake up, because I'll be able to send them right to the videos so they can listen for themselves, because they're gonna ask me, how did you do X, Y, Z? This is what it says. Since God created man free through free will, he has left up to man to create his own situations. And man has thought into existence all evil. And normally I would read more on that, right? But I'm going to put it like this. Our family members teach us a lot about ourselves, what we need to focus on, but you must have spiritual discernment in terms of when they say something, you know? And you have certain people. There was this guy named Niccolo Machiavelli. His book was called The Prince. This book was designed to show an individual who would soon be king how to run his kingdom in his mind as a prince first. So it goes something like this. If you have 10 people who don't like you, but you're a good man, in the instance that you deal with them, you have to be a little more than what they think they are in terms of getting rid of them, and whatever that may be, maybe not physical, it may be you making yourself absent to them, or absent to the situation. Then after they're gone, you can go back to being good. But one thing I do know by trial and error, if you're a good man and you're surrounded by 10 bad men, your time is limited. That's what I've learned. So now I'm putting it into effect with some other data that I'm not even going to put on the video, because I can clearly see that just that you have to be careful in what you say, because you don't need no extra, you know what I mean? It's all like, I had, like, that just like, for example, right, the other day I went into Walmart So I had already had a beef with this lady, right? Because they like real crazy about masks. So before I could even adjust my mask so it could get back over my nose, because it had dropped, because I used to have asthma before, right? No mask mess up my breathing, but so far I'm good. She jumped out there, and as she jumped out there, her head was rolling down the aisle, symbolically, because I knew I couldn't play with her. Plus, she was, no disrespect against Hispanics, but out in Tucson, Hispanics just assume that, I don't know, like most black folk is culturally disconnected, because my whole demonstration is this. I know who I am, and I know how I'm rolling, and I know what to accept, and I know what happens when I jump out there. I have no misunderstanding. So to me, like when you step out there and you already know what time it is, and if you don't, but I know, but you think I'm lunching, I got it. But anyway, I had to go back to the same spot to get something done. And come to find out, this one lady, she's a manager of the whole store, right? So I already see she's dominant in her relationship with her husband, because just the way she coming off, I'm like, you like doing too much. Like it's only a store. I mean, what if you lose your job, and for, your background, and let's say it was nice for you, you know how much trouble that's going to put you in, right? So even without all that, I was wondering why this lady was in my circumference. And then it finally dawned on me, right? She was in my circumference that I created, that I needed to be taught a lesson. And that lesson was, don't react, respond. But I knew it was a done deal, because I had to go to this other spot. And I finally did end up getting what I was supposed to get, but it's making me more aware, more receptive, more like on point, like why things are the way that they are. Like some of the data, and this is really powerful, right? And that's why I'm working on my joints so fast, so hard, right? And it's not even about working hard, and that's another demonstration, but it went something like this. Where you at and where you are is exactly where you want to be, because you created it. I'm like, oh man, okay. So what that's telling me is this. If I don't like what I'm going through right now, do I have the ability to not only do something different, but do a 180, like have it like a way I really, really want to? And then the data was like, okay, it's not so much what you do physically, it's where your thought predominantly is located that creates. So I'm looking back at the data, and I wanted to give some insight. And I know where I'm gonna start at tomorrow. No, is it tonight? No, tonight, because this is my first video. I've been supposed to have been out here, but I was getting so much done, like on the subatomic scale. You know what I mean? Like my demonstration hasn't even came back to me. It's like the law of sow is what you reap. And then if you know how to bring it back to yourself even quicker. I just ran into this dude, right? Like he does options trading, right? So we were just talking in general, right? Because he's a brokerage guy I deal with. And so he told me, he's like in his 80s. So he told me, look, he said, when I initially got into it, he said, I just wanted to do 500 a day, 500 times 5, Monday to Friday, a month. That's 10 grand a month, 2,500 a week. I said, okay, that makes sense. You know what I mean? And then he said, yeah, but see, he said, my demonstration has changed. He says, I'm doing the same thing now, but he says, now it's 40,000 a month. He said, every month. And he's doing options trading. So if I had not jumped out there, I would have never met him, because it wasn't like somebody introduced me to him. But he obviously got to know what he's doing. And the only reason why I say that is because, like, I don't know a lot of millionaires, but I know, since I've been in Tucson, I know two. And the two that I know, they are so tight that not only will they make an eagle scream, but like everybody's suspect but them because they know how they came up. You know what I'm saying? So just being in that environment changes things. And again, the major reasons for me learning all this is to teach this in some kind of way. And not only that, right? I'm gonna pick my students wisely. Like I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna know. Like the first law with me is you have to teach another from your heart. Yet you're like nearly like a master magician, or but dealing with subatomic particles, but also you're no fool. So you're gonna really be on point. And then sometimes, depending on where you at, is where your vibration is at when you walk into a room. You change the entire Fahrenheit or Celsius. Why is that? Because of your vibratory scale, vibratory scale. So I'm gonna keep on working on what I'm working on. Like I said, real pumped up, real focused, um, and getting it done. So right now, I feel like I don't really want to call it bankruptcy, but I know in bankruptcy they have a term called receivership. And most people don't know that the United States is a corporate entity and that it functions under bankruptcy laws, and that the people are held as collateral and they pay the tax through the debt. I know. So anyway, when I said I know, I mean like if somebody ever listen to it, they're gonna be like 90 something percent of people ain't gonna get it, but there's gonna be maybe one or two. They're gonna be like, yo, this guy know what he talking about. But see, by that time, I'm thinking like by that time, I'm already doing my thing already. So, you know, the way that you'll know whether data is correct or not is by watching what I do. And then watching what I do is only what I want to show you. So y'all have a good day, and I'll be on later again this evening for the second video.